let's move on to the CAG bag.
Yes.
It's that time. At Gaming Groceries writes in and says, Frontier CEO David Braben has said that physical games will go away within 2 or 3 years. I don't necessarily agree, but what are your thoughts?
As long as there are broadband caps in the United States of America, we will never be completely digital. I don't care if the technology is there. That's not the point. It's not about the technology. It's about the access to the technology. And there are caps and walls and limits on that. The CEO of Frontier is an idiot. End of the story.
Maybe there won't be any caps in 3 years.
Yeah, that would be the only way that this could happen. And I don't see Comcast
it's still even beyond that. It still doesn't over Memorial Day weekend, this last weekend, we went to we had a cabin that we had rented like months ago, and we're like, oh, we'll still go to the cabin because there's nobody at the cabin.
Yeah, it's social. It's a social distance vacation.
Yeah, it's a social distance vacation. So we went there, and I couldn't even use Netflix at this cabin. I had no cell coverage, and to be fair,
were you expecting to be able to use Netflix there?
I mean, they had a Chromecast like hooked up to the TV, so yeah, something. They had Wi-Fi, like they had internet. It was just 0.5 down.
Sweet.
So, and there was a Walmart 10 minutes away, so it's not like we were like totally just out in the middle of nowhere.
Just close to it.
Just close to it, and like there's plenty of places like that still that people are not going to go digital. They have to go to I had to go to the Walmart parking lot to download a movie onto my phone so I could take it back and plug it into the TV there and watch it.
Yeah, it's people who make statements like this are people that don't that live in a bubble. I'm assuming the CEO of Frontier probably makes a very nice living and kind of lives in this bubble where he doesn't understand that there are people that have broadband caps that they need to be aware of, that they live in rural areas where the internet isn't as good as it is in whatever luxury area he lives in. And you're going to say things like, well, everything will just be digital because it's so easy and it's right here and that's how it should be. But it's not as simple as just saying, yes, everything could be digital within 2 or 3 years. But a lot of infrastructure things need to change that have nothing to do with the technology itself.
Aren't there games? They put out PC games. Do they put out any games in packages?
I don't know. I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah. I'm sure some games, I mean, now there are some games a lot of games are just digital. So,
yes, I'm not saying that there will never be games that are just digital. That wasn't the question, though.
I'm sure the next Grand Theft Auto game will be available on a disc in 3 years.
Yeah, Frontier definitely puts out games at retail right now.
He's the co-founder of the Raspberry Pi Foundation.
Not the actual Pi.
I don't know what that means. Yeah.
I'm not interested.
He's a British game developer, designer, and founder and CEO of Frontier Developments.
I like their games.
He's 56 years old.
I like their pies.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure he's a nice guy, and I don't think he's probably not an idiot, but you know what I mean.
At Funny Dale writes in and asks, what game was the biggest regret that you've ever bought? A game that you were hyped for, but when you played it, it disappointed you so much that you were pissed. The Zelda game, Wombat.
I mean, Breath of the Wild, yes. Breath of the Wild was definitely a disappointment, but it's not the biggest in my life. It's got to be something bigger than that. I feel like there is probably something on the Genesis. I remember being pretty hyped for Chuck Rock.
Genesis, yeah, that could happen a lot. Back in
a lot of the Genesis, you could run into that a lot,
right? You didn't know.
I remember Decap Attack. I remember being disappointed in that. I thought that was going to be cool. It wasn't that cool.
Now you know what you're getting, more or less. Anything in the modern era, you've seen a lot of videos. You know, there's not that many surprises if you know. You know.
You know what? I remember being disappointed. Nintendo games, obviously, there were a lot of those. I remember being disappointed in the Mickey Mouse game for the Nintendo, for the NES.
Right.
I don't even remember that game. What was that game?
Oh, it was. Oh God, it was a Mickey Mouse game. I'm trying to. I remember there being a really poorly pixelated boat, and I know Pete's in it, and it's not nearly as good.
Oh, Mickey Mouse Capade?
Yeah.
Okay, that wasn't bad. Okay.
I remember being disappointed in that, and then a year later, I was playing Mickey and the Enchanted Castle on the Genesis,
Okay.
which is
Sure.
Infinitely
Infinitely better.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah. So I remember being disappointed. Maybe. Oh, the first Ninja Turtle game on the Nintendo.
Yes.
That's it. That's the answer.
You didn't like dying? That is the answer right there.
It is. That's the answer. It's
Because
the
it was-
ultimate answer.
Because that arcade game was already out. Probably,
Yep.
right? You were like, yes, we get the arcade game.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be so much like it. You get home and you're just like, what is this? Why are all my turtles dying? Why can't they breathe underwater?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. That's the ultimate answer. We figured it out. Good work, everybody. Let's go home.
We're home already.
Shit.
At Toxtra asks, what do you hate more, long load times or bad save points or checkpoints? Load time, bad checkpoints.
Yeah,
that
probably bad check and save points. That actually is another. We should bring this up. Another problem with Minecraft Dungeons: no pause button.
Yes.
Fix your
is
shit,
a problem.
Microsoft. Mojang.
Are they gonna? By the way, speaking of Minecraft Dungeons, I meant to ask this before. They're gonna put a lot of microtransactions in there.
Oh,
right?
yeah. There's
There
like
already are.
islands and stuff.
Oh, there are. I didn't. What? Like what?
They're selling
Skins.
skins already.
Oh, okay.
There's a season
they're-
pass too.
Right. There's
Okay.
DLC islands that are just kind of hanging out there in the map. Right?
Yeah, they're $10. $10
I was just
for the islands that don't exist yet.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
At Scoop Moose writes in and asks, when are they going to release the CheapyD cut for the Saints Row 3 remaster?
That is the
We didn't
funniest thing. It is the.
We didn't talk
funniest
about
thing.
this,
I
right?
know we didn't. Now's your chance. How do
Now's
you
the big
feel
chance.
about your new look?
So yeah, the Saints Row 3 remaster came out, and while I'm in the game, my voice is in the game, but my likeness is no longer in the game. Now I am a African American.
You're a
male.
handsome black man now.
Yes. Yeah, that was weird. Like they really didn't want to spend like an extra like any dollars to render anything they didn't have to, I guess.
So I was gonna say they wouldn't have to pay you. You wouldn't have cared.
Of course not. I paid them to be in the
Yeah, I was
game.
gonna say all they would have had to do is say we want to use your likeness again. You probably would have been like, "Whatevs."
I would have been excited.
Yeah.
I would have done anything. I would have helped them promote the game. I would have done anything for free.
And you haven't been able to get in touch with anyone there, like via social medias, like none of that.
I haven't asked. I haven't looked to get in touch with anybody. I've just tweeted some things, but not.
Yeah, but
you know.
they didn't respond or anything.
No. Why would they?
Because
It's,
because you're in their game.
Mrs. Cheapy was like, thought it was crazy that they did that. She's
It
like,
is.
What if you were a black guy and then they change you to a white guy? Or, like, why? And then why did they change you to a black guy? Because black people commit crimes? She's like, what are they doing? It's like, what are they thinking? Like, what's the reason? Like, at least if they don't, like, at least try to make you look the same if they don't want to spend the money.
I'm hoping they just got they misread your tone of skin from the first go round.
But they must have looked at the.
Yeah, it's right
didn't even
there.
look?
It's
I'm a homie, so like I'm on the screen. Like they.
again.
Yeah, I don't know. You've been mistaken for a black man before with your icon.
Only from the waist down. That's my old icon. I fixed
Right,
that once
right.
the mistakes were happening.
Right, but maybe that contributed the same thing here.
But not my Saints Row guy never looked. My icon's long gone. My Saints Row
I'm
guy looked
telling you,
pretty
I think
white.
you need to reach out to the developers and say, "Hey,
Well, they don't even the developers. They hire a company to remaster.
Right.
The developers have
Right.
nothing to do with
whatever,
it. Like,
the peoples."
they don't care. And like to imagine, like if they're not gonna like patch the game. Like they have to pay
No,
money to do
no,
that.
but it would be
They're not-
funny to get a response.
I would like. Yeah, it would be interesting to hear what the reason was. Like I have no like.
You do this popular video game podcast, and information like that would be entertaining for our listeners. You need to follow up on this.
All right. I'm not like I'm not mad at all, by the way.
No, I don't think
I'm
you should be.
disappointed, like, because I was about to buy the game until somebody, sent me the picture. I was like, oh. But I would like the reason. I'd like to hear the reason. My guess is the reason is they only were told to remaster certain characters, and that wasn't one of them. So they're like, oh, what about this guy? Like, well, we're only supposed to do the people on this list. It's not on the list. All right, just push the random character generator. Something like that.
I don't know. It sounds lame. You should find out. You should ask him. Just say, hey.
There's a story here.
I'm not mad, and you should send them isn't there a link to the history of the whole charity thing?
I have a great idea. How about, yes, of course there is. It's on Wikipedia or some shit. I'm sure we have some game journalists that listen to this show. I'm sure, it might be interesting. And if you find out the answer and it's not interesting, then you don't have to write the article.
Basically, at the end of the day, you paid a lot of money to a charity in order to be put in this video game, just to have you replaced by someone better looking. And I think that's the real problem here.
That's not what happened at all. But it might be an interesting story if anybody wants.
They're like, this guy seems okay.
Everything okay? Oh, I'm on video here. You don't want to come in here now. Mrs. Cheapy was just coming in with some. I mean, unless you want to show yourself to Wombat and Shipwreck, they can't. No, I'm not broadcasting anywhere. Oh, but we're recording. We are recording. I was wondering if you want to. I'm gonna lick your ladle later. Okay, give it to me right now. Okay. Mrs. Cheapy's baking stuff, so she's. Yeah. You can bring it. Just bring it quick. Hurry! Bring the ladle.
She doesn't have to worry. The only people that can see her are there's only 2 people that can see her.
Right. It's fine. Oh, it's good.
What is she baking? Oh, the caramels.
They're stuck in my teeth already.
Excellent.
Wait, I can't do this. I'm doing a show now. Read the next question while I lick this ladle.
All right. At Denbot91 has to say, do the CAGcast wives play video games as well? I recall hearing in the past about Mr. Shipwreck playing various co-op games and Mrs. Cheapy watching games being played, such as A Plague's Tale: Innocence. What about Mrs. Wombat? Mrs. Wombat does not play video games per se. What she does do, her big hobby is jigsaw puzzles, which is more of a physical activity. But the jigsaw puzzle table is in proximity to the video game playing area. So it's something that in many ways we kind of do together, separately.
It doesn't count. So that's just you being close to each other while you're each doing something different.
Yeah, that's called marriage.
We don't do that.
Yeah.
We always do the same thing.
Yeah.
We do.
Uh-huh. What's what's that?
What?
What's that?
I'm saying, if I'm playing video games, then Mrs. Cheapy's watching me play the game. Yeah. And if we're doing something else, then we're doing something else together. What are you saying?
I don't know.
I don't know.
How many calories do you burn doing jigsaw puzzles?
Well, it's a more physical activity than... and when she does them, because she does those... Is it? She does 2,000 piece puzzles. So there's
you don't burn calories doing
that's where the calories burned.
That's where the calories are burned. There's lots of reaching.
It's because 2,000 pieces is a lot of calories.
It's a lot of calories. I'd say more so than sitting on the couch playing a video game. But I mean...
I think it's the same.
When I say physical activity, I don't mean like a sport. I mean more of a tactile moving of pieces around.
And you're in each other's physical space.
Yes. Not an athletic activity. Don't mince my words.
Speaking of athletic activities, I'm starting a online rowing class this week.
Good for you.
Or next week. That's all I have to say about that.
Oh, and yes, Mrs. Shipwreck plays lots of video games. She likes couch co-op games that she could play with her husband.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
She watched me play the first level of Minecraft Dungeons, though, and was good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
She's good on that one.
Yeah, she just kept playing.
What'd she say? What was the quote? What was the quote?
I don't know that there was really a direct quote, but it she saw me playing it and I went, "This game has co-op," and she just kind of kept playing Animal Crossing. She looked that into it. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Good to know.
I asked both my children.
Something happens to my Animal Crossing save.
I asked both my children if they wanted to play it with me, and they both were like, "No, thanks."
Really?
Yep.
I don't know about this game. Like
My
feel
daughter
like-
just wanted to play more Animal Crossing because that's all she does.
Sure.
And my son, he likes regular Minecraft, and this is nothing like regular Minecraft. So,
right. I feel like they didn't capture the license, like you were saying earlier. Like it's
missing something.
There's something clever.
Yeah.
They forgot to put the clever in.
There's something that would make it unique to Minecraft that's not there that they just didn't do. Like I
Imagination.
said, something yes, whether it be a crafting element when you're back at the camp, because you could buy stuff from the vendors, but you can't craft your own thing, which is a huge part of Minecraft. And there's nothing destructible in the levels themselves. Those are the two big keys. The mining and crafting are not in this game.
They nailed the dungeons.
Yeah.
By the way, Mrs. Cheapy handed me this ladle that's all it got caramel goo on it now. What am I supposed to do with it? I'm at my desk. I don't have like a
Stick it to
plate
the
or
wall.
anything.
You're just holding it now. That's what
I'm just
you're
holding
supposed to
it
do with
now.
Yeah.
Stick it to the wall.
I have nowhere to put it.
Stick it to the top of your head. Stick it to your forehead.
All right, I'm just gonna wave it at you as I ask these last few questions. Oh, last question.
Last question.
Yellow Snowpal writes in and says, with what we know now, do you see Microsoft regaining the console supremacy, or will Sony hold on? Microsoft Xbox was too new to beat PS2, but the earlier release and cheaper price for 360 helped it to beat PS3. Sony learned from its mistake and PS4 came out cheaper to beat Xbox One. Right now, they both appear similar to me. What do you think? What do you think Christmas will be here soon?
No one is going to lose. In all of your examples, no one lost.
But he's saying also which one should he? What's our impression about which one is going to be the superior product? I think is what he's really
Again, in all of his examples, no one product was significantly better than the other product. If you only had one of each of those for each generation, you were probably very happy with the video games you were playing. It's fine. It's whatever. They're both going to be good. They're both going to be the right choice if it's what's best for you.
I think, yes, both consoles will be perfectly fine. I think, Microsoft really skimped on the exclusives this go around with the Xbox One. And that, along with the price, that was the big differentiator between the two.
Well, the price and the Kinect and the worst press conference. And
yeah, that's out the gate. But then after that, they didn't gain any ground back by there just weren't any exclusives for Microsoft. They didn't have anything in the works.
One Halo was probably not the best way to go. Right.
That was the choice they made.
Where's the Halo Diablo game?
Well, they did the twin stick shooter one.
That's not the same thing. No.
That's not the same.
There needs to be like a gear, like a looting. That would be awesome. Okay, anyway, Go on.
Yeah, so I think Xbox has learned a lot of lessons this time around. They went out and bought all those studios. They're going to create some games. Sony is always going to have a leg up because they have all the Japanese games, right? So
do they?
And Spider-Man.
I guess. Yeah, they have Spider-Man.
Well, anybody can have Spider-Man, right?
If you want to write
if you have enough money, anybody can have.
If you want to write the check, you could have Spider-Man. Yeah.
Right.
First, you get the money.
I mean, why isn't Xbox?
Then you get the power.
Then
you get the Spider-Man.
If I'm surprised Xbox hasn't been like, fine, Spider-Man exclusive game, Batman's now exclusive to the Xbox. They could do it.
Right.
But whatever. I'm not.
Do they need to though? I mean,
I don't know. Do they? I guess not. I don't know.
I don't know that. At the same time, I don't know that Sony needed to make the Spider-Man exclusive, but they did.
Mm-hmm.
They were all in about, hey, we're just going to keep buying exclusives. And Microsoft decided not to buy exclusives.
There's already a big Sony Spider-Man relationship behind the scenes anyway.
Sure.
So that's probably part of it too. But that's a whole different thing.
It's probably money.
Money, yes. It is about money.